Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Pre-Market News and Views by Money Stocks. Today is Wednesday, August 21st, 2013. Thank you all for tuning in. Let's jump right into the charts. We're going to start off with the S&P 500 E-mini futures. What you'll see here is that the futures are trading lower by 2 3/4 points to 1647.75. Futures have come off the lows. They were trading as low as 1644, but that was around 5 o'clock this morning. Now it is 8:29 in the morning, and futures are right at the 1647, 1648 level. So they have come off the lows. That's typical. Markets will generally get a little bit of a bid before the opening bell, so we'll have to watch that pretty closely. You are seeing the U.S. dollar index catch a little bit of a bid today. The dollar back above the 81 level. That should help to pull back the price of gold. We'll also see if it does have any effect on oil. But either way you slice it or dice it, markets are still in a vulnerable spot. Little oversold, but nothing to write home about on the upside. And again, they are trading lower by about 2.5 to 3 points at the moment. Now, a few things we want to talk about quickly. One, we want to go right to the Asian markets last night. If we take a look at the Asian markets overall, you had basically the Nikkei and the Hang Seng. Well, I should say the Nikkei 225 index finishing up 0.2%. The Hang Seng, which is Hong Kong, not quite the same. That was down about 0.7%. But the Shanghai was flat. Where the big news is really coming out of is out of India. India has been really roiled with this rupee, which is making new lows against the dollar. And again, India was down 1.86%. So you got to look for early morning weakness again in many of these leading Indian equities or ADRs. Tata Motors is one that has really been hit most recently, and this could see a little bit of lower price today. Also, Infosys. This is another Indian ADR, and I just have to think that Indian ADRs are still very weak here, and you got to be careful here because India is facing major problems. It is not being publicized in the media, but this index has really just been absolutely annihilated as of late. If you take a chart of the Bombay Sensex Index, I don't know if my chart is updated for today, but you could just see how this thing has just gotten completely annihilated as of late. So it's something to keep an eye on. And last night it was down again. Obviously the index is not updated on the chart, but it closed at 17,905. So finished all the way down here, even though this chart is not updated. But this is not a pretty picture any way you slice it or dice it. So again, watch for Indian ADRs to be weak this morning. I think that's going to be most important, especially for day traders. Watch for early weakness in a lot of the Indian-related equities. We will have some gap plays this morning, so just so everybody knows, we will have, I think, 4 or 5 gap plays, so there's definitely going to be some good action there. The European markets this morning are really holding steady for the most part. German DAX is just down a couple of points. The one market that is getting hit today is Milan, Italy, again. So the Italian market, after surging really throughout the month of August, has really had a pretty sharp decline. And the FTSE MIB is down about 0.7%. So we'll leave it there. We're not going to go too far into the European markets at the moment. The big news today will be the Federal Reserve releasing their FOMC meeting minutes. That will be at 2 o'clock. So the Federal Open Market Committee will release their minutes from their last meeting at 2 p.m. this afternoon. Almost every trader in the world is sitting on the edge of their seat waiting to see what the Fed says. I'm not sure if it's going to be a market mover or not. But if it is, that's what we care about, the reaction. We care less about the news. Looking at some stocks in the news today, Toll Brothers reported earnings. The stock is not really doing much. Closed at 31.64. It's trading at 31.30. I think the numbers were a miss due to a charge, but who cares? We only care about the market action. Target, it's another stock that is selling off after earnings. Closed at 67.95 yesterday. Today it's trading at 66.60. This stock also guided lower. Said they're going to come in at the lower end, full year guidance. Also, I believe the numbers were a little bit disappointing. We have a few other stocks out here. Staples is another one. I will have gap plays for all of these names mentioned, so if you want them, Staples is getting roasted and toasted. This morning, the stock closed at 16.84, trading at 15.23, was as low as 14.50. So, Staples, just another stock that's getting hammered this morning. You will want to watch for economic data today. That will be released at 10 o'clock, I believe. We only have July existing home sales, but that will be released at 10 o'clock in the morning. So we'll see how that all plays out. But either way, it's one of those markets where the markets are, they're finding some footing here, but the reality of it is still pretty weak overall, and we don't want to make too much out of it. Again, watch for the charts, watch the patterns. That will tell you everything you need to know. Those of you that are aggressive traders or day traders, come on over to the chat room at 9 o'clock. All the gap plays will be posted. I think I'm going to leave it there. Once again, I want to wish you all a great trading day, and we'll just see how this market plays out going forward. But with that said, everybody, we'll see you on the charts.